Take a slow, steady breath and let it flow out again, soft and unhurried. The weight of your day begins to ease, like fabric slipping from the line, set free to move with the breeze. Here, in this quiet moment, you are invited into rest. Nothing is required of you, nothing is urgent. Close your eyes if you wish and imagine the world of a Tang Dynasty city, calm, hushed, and waiting. This is not a story of rulers or battles, but of the ordinary corners of life, laundry yards where fabric sways gently in the air, and kitchens where simple snacks are prepared with quiet care. The beauty lies not in drama, but in the rhythm of repetition, the comfort of routine, the gentle embrace of the everyday. As the story unfolds, each detail will arrive slowly, like ripples across still water. Each sound, each image will soften your thoughts and ease your breath. Allow yourself to drift, calmly and peacefully, into this quiet journey. And as the dawn begins to rise, we will step softly into the stillness of early morning. You find yourself in the earliest hour of morning when the city is not yet fully awake. The air is cool and gentle, carrying a faint trace of mist that hovers low over the tiled rooftops. This is a moment between night and day, a pause before the rhythm of life begins. You breathe it in slowly, noticing how the coolness fills your chest and then leaves again, soft and unhurried. The streets are nearly empty. Stone pathways glisten with a thin sheen of dew, each droplet catching the pale light. The city is not asleep, but neither is it awake. It is resting in the in-between, and you rest with it. Your breathing falls into the rhythm of the quiet streets, steady and calm. Every detail, light, sound, scent, works together to cradle you in peace. Take another deep, slow breath, and as you exhale, notice how even your own body feels lighter, as though it belongs to this dawn. Ahead, at the end of a narrow path, you begin to sense another space waiting. The faint sound of water grows more distinct, and you see the outline of wooden poles rising against the pale sky. This is the laundry yard, calm and prepared, ready to welcome you into its rhythm. And so you step forward, leaving the stillness of dawn behind and entering the gentle heart of ordinary work. A rooster calls somewhere beyond a wooden gate, the sound fading almost as soon as it arrives. It does not break the silence. It folds into it, like a thread woven into fabric. The city waits patiently, unbothered by time. Above you, the sky is pale and quiet. The sun has not yet broken through, but a soft light edges the horizon. Roof tiles hold the faint glow, and tree branches cast long, sleepy shadows across the walls. Even the banners left hanging overnight sway lazily in the breeze, their colors muted, their fabric whispering like silk against air. You notice the smells that belong only to dawn. There is smoke, faint and woody, drifting from the first kitchen fires being lit. There is the freshness of damp bamboo, a fragrance that is green, clean, and grounding. Somewhere nearby, perhaps behind a small courtyard gate, the scent of rice steaming has already begun, gentle and familiar. The smells are layered, never sharp, each one calm, each one blending easily into the next. A lantern still glows outside a tea shop. Its flame is weak now, flickering against the pale sky. The glow stretches across the worn stone threshold, a small pool of amber light against gray. It seems unhurried in its work, burning down gently, as though it knows dawn will soon replace it. You pause to look at it, and you feel how its quiet presence mirrors your own state. Steady, small, calm. Take a slow breath in. Hold it for a moment, then let it drift out again. Everything around you feels soft. The silence is not empty. It is full of small details that wait for you to notice. A boy passes by, carrying a small bundle of firewood. His steps are light, bare feet pressing softly against the stone. Each footfall is gentle, like drops of water slipping into a basin. He does not look left or right. His attention rests on his own rhythm, and you watch him move steadily until he disappears around a corner. The sound of his steps lingers for a moment before fading into the quiet. In another lane, a woman moves slowly with a basket balanced on her hip. The basket holds folded cloth, its edges just visible above the rim. Her sleeves hang loose, brushing against her hands as she walks. Her pace is calm, without hurry, each step measured and sure. She does not disturb the dawn. She belongs to it, a part of the stillness itself. Somewhere faint, you hear water poured into a basin. It splashes softly, steady and controlled. The sound repeats, then repeats again. It is not noise, it is rhythm. A sound that rests inside the silence rather than breaking it. You breathe along with it, each splash guiding your inhale, each pause guiding your exhale. The sound is ordinary, yet it settles you more deeply into calm. The mist clings to the corners of the city. Walls appear softer, as though drawn in ink and blurred with water. Trees seem like brushstrokes on rice paper, delicate and understated. The whole city looks like a painting, still wet with morning dew, fragile and temporary. You feel yourself walking inside this painting, your own steps part of its composition. Every movement is small, quiet, a stroke of the brush on the page. The birds begin slowly, their calls tentative, never loud. One sings, then another, then silence again. The pauses are longer than the songs, as though they too are reluctant to break the peace. Their voices are high and light, carried away almost immediately by the breeze. It feels less like sound, more like texture, another layer in the fabric of dawn. You pause, taking in the stillness. There is no rush here, no urgency, no demand. Only time, stretching slowly, opening gently. You let your thoughts fall away, as if they too are droplets of dew sliding down a leaf, disappearing into the earth below. You walk slowly through a narrow stone lane, the mist of dawn still clinging to the edges of the walls. At the end of the lane, a wide wooden gate stands open. Beyond it, you step into the laundry yard and the world seems to shift. The sounds are softer here, the air more still, as though the yard itself is holding its breath in calm anticipation. The courtyard is enclosed on three sides by low wooden structures. Their beams are darkened with age, their tiled roofs damp from the night air. It blends with the soft creak of wood, the whisper of fabric, and the faint stirring of bamboo leaves at the edge of the yard. Together, these sounds create a scene that is alive, but not busy. It is filled with movement, but no haste. It is the kind of place where time flows like water, gentle, patient, and without demand. You wander further in, running your hand lightly along the edge of a basin. The clay is cool to the touch, faintly rough, grounding you in its texture. You dip your fingers into the water and feel it slip smoothly around your skin, cool and clean. The sensation is light, refreshing, like a sigh, that belongs not to your body, but to your mind. You lift your hand and watch droplets fall back into the basin. Each drop lands with a tiny ripple, circles spreading outward before fading again into stillness. It is the same with your own thoughts. Each one appears, drifts outward, and then disappears, leaving calm behind. The laundry yard is awake now, but not rushed. It is a place where small routines unfold with patience, where ordinary tasks carry a quiet beauty of their own. You find yourself at ease here, cradled by the rhythm of washing, the smell of soap root, the sound of water, and the sight of fabric swaying in the breeze. Take another deep breath and let it go slowly. The day has only just begun, and already you feel part of its calm. Ahead, the rhythm of washing grows steadier. The sound of fabric meeting water becomes clearer, stronger, and you are ready to step deeper into the heart of this gentle work. And so, as the laundry yard welcomes you fully, we move into the rhythm of washing. The fourth side opens outward, letting in the pale morning light that slips between bamboo poles and the faint silhouettes of laundry lines. The ground beneath your feet is paved with stone slabs, uneven, some worn smooth, others chipped and holding tiny puddles of dew. Your steps are unhurried. Each movement feels like part of the rhythm of this place. At the center of the yard, large clay basins stand ready. They are shallow but wide, their rims rough beneath the hand, their surfaces marked by years of use. Within them, water rests quietly, reflecting the faint glow of the sky above. The surface trembles occasionally when a breeze moves through, sending ripples across like soft circles spreading outward. The basins feel almost alive, prepared for the steady work of the day. But for now they are calm, still, and waiting. Beside them, wooden poles rest across sturdy frames, stretching from one side of the yard to the other. Some are already lined with fabric, hemp in muted beige, cotton in pale white, silk in soft shimmer. Others are empty, waiting patiently for the day's wash to arrive. The sight of the fabric swaying gently in the morning air is soothing. Each piece moves not with urgency, but with the same quiet breath that fills the entire courtyard. Take a deep, slow breath now. Let it fill your chest, and then release it gently, as though you were sighing along with the fabric in the breeze. The yard answers with its own rhythm, a faint creak of wood, a soft drip of water, the brushing sound of cloth against cloth. Every sound is steady and low, merging into a single, calming harmony. In one corner, you notice baskets stacked neatly, woven from bamboo, their edges smoothed by countless hands. Some hold folded cloth awaiting washing. Others hold bundles of soap root, their earthy fragrance rising faintly into the air. The scent is mild, herbal, almost sweet. It blends with the dampness of stone and the freshness of early air. It is a fragrance that does not demand your attention, but instead settles into your senses quietly, like a memory you can rest upon. A pair of workers move quietly through the yard. Their sleeves are rolled up, their movements unhurried, their steps barely disturbing the silence. One carries a bucket of water, the wooden handle creaking softly under its weight. He pours it carefully into a basin, the sound spilling like a gentle stream, steady and calm. The other shakes a piece of fabric loose, the cloth unfolding with a dry rustle before being laid gently across a pole. These motions repeat again and again until they become like a lullaby, not of words, but of simple repetitive action. You pause to watch. There is nothing extraordinary here, and yet everything feels complete. The slow dip of fabric into water, the patient wringing of fibers, the gentle placement of cloth upon wood. Each detail holds you in its simplicity, reminding you of the quiet comfort that can be found in routines. Take another slow breath. Feel how even your body begins to follow this rhythm. Inhale with the lifting of fabric, exhale with the drip of water back into the basin. Your thoughts quieten, your shoulders soften, and the tension you carried begins to dissolve. The workers exchange a few words, but their voices are low and warm, more like hums than speech. You do not need to know their meaning. The sound alone is soothing. You stand now beside the wide clay basin, watching as the rhythm of washing begins to take shape. It is not hurried, not forceful, but steady. like the heartbeat of the courtyard itself. You lean closer and notice how each movement is slow and deliberate, repeated again and again until it becomes a pattern that quiets the mind. A worker dips a length of fabric into the water. The cloth sinks with a soft sigh, releasing tiny bubbles that rise lazily to the surface. All you need is the steady pulse of the work, the sound of fabric and water, the sense of being carried by something larger than yourself. Take a final, long breath in, then let it flow out gently. The rhythm of washing continues, steady and endless, holding you within its calm embrace. And as you stand within this courtyard of repetition and peace, your attention drifts toward the fabrics themselves, their textures and their differences, waiting to tell their own quiet story. The water darkens slightly as soap root blends with the fibers, releasing its gentle, herbal scent. The worker presses the cloth down, lets it soak, then lifts it again, water streaming in clear arcs back into the basin. The sound is steady. Splash, pause, drip. Splash, pause, drip. It becomes almost like music, a rhythm without melody, perfectly designed to lull you into stillness. Another worker takes a bundle of cotton and begins to scrub it against a flat board. The sound is rough but low, almost like the scratching of a brush on parchment. It is never harsh, never urgent, just a background rhythm, constant and grounding. You listen closely, and the pattern repeats itself, again and again, until it feels as though time has stretched into one continuous, soothing loop. Take a slow breath now. Imagine yourself placing your hands into the basin, feeling the cool water slip between your fingers. The cloth is heavy when you lift it, water dripping down your arms. But it is soft too, pliant, willing to follow your motion. You wring it gently, twisting with care, and droplets fall back into the basin with steady taps, like rain against a stone. Each drop is a moment, and each moment dissolves into the calm flow of the morning. Around you, the workers move in harmony, though they do not speak much. One rinses, another wrings, another shakes the fabric loose. Their actions overlap, creating layers of sound. The splash of water, the squeeze of fabric, the creak of poles, the sigh of cloth in the breeze. It is like an orchestra of the mundane, each note soft, each rhythm aligned with the next. There is no conductor, and yet everything flows together perfectly. The fabrics themselves carry their own voices. The coarse hemp makes a dry, papery rustle as it is shaken and spread. The cotton is softer, its sound muffled, like a low whisper. The silk is nearly silent, save for the faintest hiss as water slips from its smooth surface. Each material adds a texture to the soundscape, and together they create a song of ordinary life, subtle, yet deeply soothing. You pause to notice how even the smallest details feel alive here. A droplet of water clings to the edge of the basin, trembling before falling. A loose thread trails from the corner of a cloth, swaying slightly before settling. The wind stirs, carrying the faint smell of wet fibers and soap root, blending with the freshness of bamboo from just beyond the wall. Every sense is gently engaged, but none are overwhelmed. It is a balance, like the rhythm itself, steady, slow, and deeply peaceful. Take another deep breath. As you inhale, imagine drawing in the cool scent of water and fabric. As you exhale, imagine releasing the weight of your own day, letting it drip away just as the water drips from the cloth. There is no rush. There is only the rhythm, steady and calm. The workers pause occasionally, stretching their arms, wiping their hands against their tunics. Their movements are quiet, part of the flow, never breaking the pattern. When they return to their tasks, it is as though no time has passed at all. The rhythm resumes, unchanged, eternal. You realize that this is not just work, it is meditation. The repetition is the point. The stillness inside the motion is what gives it meaning. You imagine yourself staying here, repeating these tasks, letting hours pass without notice, dipping, scrubbing, wringing, spreading, again and again, without hurry, without pressure. Each cycle is the same, yet each one feels new because you are more present, more at ease, more attuned to the simplicity of the moment. The rhythm slows your mind. Thoughts that once pressed forward now drift back, waiting quietly like folded cloth at the edge of the yard. You do not need them now. You turn your attention now to the fabrics themselves, each one resting quietly in the courtyard. They seem like ordinary materials, and yet each holds its own character, its own voice. To linger with them is to understand the quiet language of texture, of weight, of sound. You breathe deeply, preparing to notice them one by one, slowly and with care. The hemp is the most humble. When you touch it, the surface is coarse, rough against your fingers, but sturdy. Even the imperfections hold a gentle charm. A patch sewn carefully into hemp, its stitches neat but visible, a cotton thread fraying at the edge, curling softly as though it were tired. A faint discoloration on silk, evidence of dye that faded over time. None of these flaws disturb the piece. They add to it, reminding you that life itself is textured, never uniform, always carrying small marks of use and time. The workers do not dwell on these details, yet they handle them with care. They know each cloth by touch, by weight, by sound. Their attention is calm, never hurried, but steady and sure. It is not admiration, it is understanding. And in that understanding, there is peace. Take one more deep breath, and as you let it out, imagine the fabrics swaying in the breeze above you. They are light, they are steady, and they move with the rhythm of air itself. The laundry yard has now become a place not just of work, but of harmony between texture, sound, and scent. And as you linger in this harmony, your attention begins to shift, drawn toward the sounds that echo softly from the edges of the yard, the drip of water, the rustle of bamboo, the whisper of cloth. And so you prepare to listen more closely, to step into the gentle union of water and shadow. It carries the smell of the earth, faint and grounding, like soil after gentle rain. When soaked in the basin, hemp darkens quickly, its fibers absorbing the water with eagerness. When lifted, it hangs heavy, dripping in thick streams, the sound low and steady. Shaken in the breeze, hemp makes a dry, papery rustle, each strand stiff but reliable. It does not shine, it does not shimmer, but it endures. Its plainness holds its own quiet beauty, reminding you that strength and peace often come from the simplest things. Next, you take a piece of cotton from a basket. Its whiteness is soft, almost cloud-like, unassuming yet inviting. In your hands, cotton feels pliant and comforting, yielding easily to your touch. When soaked, it softens further, its fibers swelling with moisture. You wring it slowly, and the water releases in a muted cascade, each droplet falling like a soft drumbeat on stone. The sound is gentler than hemp, less sharp, more like a whisper. Laid across a pole, cotton folds naturally, draping with ease, catching the sunlight in muted patterns. It feels like a fabric made for closeness, for bedding, for robes, for the quiet corners of life where comfort matters most. Then there is silk. When you lift it, the fabric nearly slips from your hands, so smooth and fluid that it seems alive. Its texture is unlike the others, cool, sleek, almost invisible in its lightness. Dipped into water, silk clings to itself, the liquid sliding across its surface rather than soaking in. You raise it carefully, and water streams down in long, clear lines, as though unwilling to stay. Silk makes almost no sound. Its voice is a hush, a subtle exhale like the breath of dawn. Spread across the pole, it shimmers faintly, even in the pale light of morning. Its colors, sometimes ivory, sometimes pale emerald, sometimes soft indigo, shift as the fabric moves, never loud but always graceful. Silk does not demand attention, but when you notice it, it rewards you with beauty that feels eternal. Take a slow breath now, letting the texture settle into your senses. Imagine the firmness of hemp against your palm, the softness of cotton, the sleekness of silk. Each one different, each one necessary, each one adding to the rhythm of life in this Tang courtyard. The workers treat each fabric with the same unhurried care. Hemp is scrubbed firmly, yet not rushed. Cotton is wrung carefully so its fibers do not tear. Silk is handled almost reverently, as though it were a living thing. Their hands know the differences instinctively, moving in ways passed down through years of quiet repetition. You realize that the rhythm of the yard is not only about water and motion, but also about texture, the way each material asks to be treated, the way each answers in return. You notice now the colors that the fabrics bring to the yard. Hemp in muted beige, strong and grounding. Cotton in pale white, soft as cloud. Silk in subtle shades, ivory, emerald, indigo, that shift and glimmer like reflections in a stream. The colors do not clash. They rest beside one another peacefully, each one balancing the other. Together, they create a harmony that is as soothing to the eye as the sounds are to the ear. Take another deep breath. Exhale slowly. Feel how your own thoughts begin to soften, like cotton yielding to the hand, like silk slipping through the fingers. Each inhale draws in steadiness. Each exhale releases tension. You are becoming part of the fabric yourself, woven into the calm rhythm of the yard. You pause in the courtyard and close your eyes for a moment. When you do, the world becomes a tapestry of sound. The first thing you hear is water, soft, steady, endlessly repeating. It is not a single sound, but many small voices blending together. The drip of droplets falling from cloth into the basin below. The splash of fabric being lowered gently into the water. The trickle as buckets pour, filling basins with fresh, cool liquid. Each sound is distinct, yet none of them rise above the others. Time loses its edge here. Minutes blend into one another like ripples merging in a pond. There is no urgency, no division between moments, only continuity, only calm. Another deep breath in and release. The water continues to flow, the bamboo continues to sway, and you remain here, cradled by sound and shadow. When you open your eyes again, you notice how the workers move like part of the same rhythm. One dips fabric into water as another shakes cloth into the air, as another lays fabric across a pole. Each action begins where another ends. There are no gaps, no breaks, only the cycle of movement repeating endlessly. It is like listening to the same soothing phrase spoken again and again, never tiring, always steady. The courtyard hums softly with life, not busy, not loud, but gently alive. It invites you to linger, to stay within this rhythm as long as you need. Here, you do not have to do anything. Here, simply noticing is enough. Take one last slow breath in and let it out with ease. The water, the bamboo, the shadows, they remain constant, continuing their quiet song. And as you let the calm settle more deeply into your body, your attention begins to shift once again, this time toward the gentle voices of the workers, whose low chatter rises softly above the rhythm of the yard. Together, they create a background of calm, like a quiet stream moving through the morning. Take a long, slow breath. As you exhale, notice how even the rhythm of your breathing seems to align with the rhythm of the water. Each inhale feels like water being drawn into the basin. Each exhale like water slipping away in gentle ripples. You become part of the courtyard, your breath woven into its steady music. Open your eyes again and notice how the sounds are matched by movement. The bamboo poles at the edge of the yard bend slightly in the breeze. Their leaves stir, brushing against one another in a low rustle. The sound is soft, like silk sliding across silk, like pages of an old book being turned slowly. It is a sound that does not demand attention. It drifts around you, subtle, almost hidden, yet deeply comforting. The bamboo casts shifting shadows across the stone floor. Each leaf creates a mark, a flicker of shade, and when the wind moves them, the shadows dance lightly. They stretch and shrink, overlap and fade, never still for long, but never hurried. The courtyard becomes alive with these patterns, as though painted freshly with every breath of the wind. You watch the play of light and dark, and it feels like watching time itself, slow, fluid, and endlessly repeating. The workers continue their tasks, but they too seem guided by the sound and shadow. When fabric is lifted from the basin, the water streams back with a soft patter. When cloth is shaken, it flutters in the air, the sound blending with the bamboo leaves. Even the creak of the wooden poles as they bear the weight of wet fabric adds its own low tone. It is a harmony of ordinary life, where every sound belongs and nothing is out of place. Take another breath now, letting your chest rise slowly. Hold it gently, and release it just as slowly, feeling the soundscape cradle you deeper into calm. As you look upward, you notice the sky has brightened. The sun peeks over the rooftops, filtering through the bamboo leaves. The shadows on the courtyard floor shift again, longer and softer now. They cross the basins, ripple across the fabrics, and trace patterns along the stones beneath your feet. It is like watching ink wash across rice paper, delicate, flowing, never exact, but always beautiful. You walk closer to the edge of the courtyard where the bamboo grows. The stalks rise tall, their green muted by the morning light. Their surfaces are smooth, their joints neat and orderly. You run your fingers lightly along one, and it feels cool, strong, unyielding, yet flexible. The leaves above you tremble in the wind, casting flickering shadows that brush across your face. It feels like the yard itself is breathing with you, exhaling light and shade in perfect rhythm. The sound of water continues behind you, steady and unbroken. It is joined now by the faint call of a bird, high and distant. The bird's song is not sharp. It is delicate, drifting on the air like a ribbon. It fades quickly, leaving the water and the bamboo to fill the silence again. You realize how easy it is to be carried away by these sounds, how natural it feels to let them wash over you until your own thoughts are hushed. Take a moment to notice the textures around you. The cool stone beneath your feet, the rough rim of the clay basin, the smooth stalk of bamboo, the soft fabric swaying on the poles. Each detail is ordinary, but together they form a sanctuary. The courtyard is not grand, not remarkable, but it is whole. It is enough. You close your eyes once more. The sound of water drips steady into your mind. The bamboo rustles like a lullaby. The shadows flicker behind your eyelids, patterns you can still sense even without sight. You stand still for a moment in the center of the courtyard. The rhythm of water and bamboo continues, but now, gently rising above it, comes the sound of voices. They are not loud, not hurried, not meant to carry beyond the walls of the laundry yard. They drift like the smoke of an incense stick, curling softly in the air before fading into silence. Two women lean over a basin together, They come and go as naturally as chatter comes and goes between the workers. The laundry yard, with its water and bamboo, feels more alive now with these voices. Yet the peace is not broken. It is deepened. The chatter, the pauses, the rhythm of words and silences, it all becomes part of the same gentle pattern, part of the same calm embrace. Another breath. Inhale the warmth of their presence. Exhale the ease of belonging. You are not an outsider here. You are part of the yard, part of the rhythm, part of the chatter that never rises, never falls, but drifts endlessly at the edges of calm. And as you listen, the sound of fabric being lifted, shaken, and spread once again takes your attention. The voices recede into the background, leaving the quiet work itself to lead you deeper into rest. Their hands move steadily in the water, lifting and pressing the cloth, but their voices rise and fall in gentle tones. They do not laugh loudly, they do not shout, just soft exchanges like the murmur of a stream hidden under stones. One says a few words, then pauses. The other answers in a low hum, her response stretching like a thread before being tied neatly at the end. The conversation is steady and calm, a rhythm within the rhythm of the yard. Take a slow breath. Let it match the quiet cadence of their voices. Inhale with one sentence. Exhale with the reply. Feel how even words, spoken gently, can become part of the fabric of calm. Elsewhere, a man carries folded cloth to a pole. As he works, he speaks briefly to another, his tone light, almost absent-minded. The words are simple, about the weight of the fabric, about the weather, about the need for another pole. There is nothing dramatic in his voice, nothing urgent, and yet the presence of these exchanges makes the courtyard feel fuller, warmer, more alive. It is as if the voices are threads, weaving between the sounds of water and bamboo, completing the tapestry of the morning. You notice how the conversations come and go like breezes. Sometimes they fade entirely, and only the rhythm of work remains. Then, softly, they begin again, without announcement, without demand. The voices never disturb the peace. They rest within it, as naturally as shadows rest within light. A younger boy, perhaps an apprentice, carries a basket toward one of the women. He places it down carefully and waits. She thanks him in a tone so soft it might almost be mistaken for a sigh. The boy nods, says nothing, but his silence itself feels like part of the conversation. He walks back slowly, his bare feet making no sound against the stones, his small figure blending again into the rhythm of the yard. Take another deep breath now. As you exhale, imagine your own voice joining theirs, not to speak, but to hum quietly, to let your sound become another note in this calm harmony. It is not about words. It is about tone, about presence, about being part of something gentle and continuous. The chatter of the workers shifts with the tasks at hand. When cloth is heavy, their voices fall quiet, focused on the steady strength of their hands. When cloth is light, drying in the sun, their voices rise again, softer and lighter, as though echoing the air itself. They do not fill the space, they decorate it. Each word, each hum, is like a small stitch, binding the morning together. You realize how soothing it is to hear voices without tension. So often words are rushed, raised, sharpened, but here they are soft, slow, and without edge. They remind you that language itself can be calming, that conversation can be as gentle as fabric swaying in the breeze. You close your eyes again and let the voices surround you. Some words are clear, others blur into sound, but it does not matter. The meaning lies not in what is said, but in how it is spoken. Low tones, steady cadences, pauses filled with silence, all combine into a lullaby of human presence. A faint laugh escapes one of the workers, soft and short, like a bell rung lightly. It does not jar the air. It brightens it, just for a moment. The laugh fades quickly, absorbed back into the stillness, leaving only a trace of warmth. Even laughter here is calm, softened by the atmosphere of the yard. Take another breath and let yourself sink deeper into this soundscape. Imagine your thoughts becoming like their words, simple, quiet, and unhurried. Each thought arrives, drifts softly, and then fades away, leaving space for the next. There is no need to hold on to them. You notice now how the courtyard begins to brighten. The sun, soft and golden, stretches over the rooftops and gently enters the open space. It does not flood the yard. It tiptoes in, spilling across the stones like a silk cloth being unrolled. The fabrics, newly washed, catch this light one by one. They sway gently on their poles, the water droplets clinging to their edges, flashing briefly before falling away. Take a slow, deep breath. You feel lighter now, as though you too were drying in the sun, releasing whatever heaviness you carried, letting it slip away into the warmth. Each inhale is sunlight filling you. Each exhale is moisture leaving gently, leaving you clearer, calmer. The courtyard feels alive, but gently so. It is not work that defines this moment, but waiting. Waiting for fabric to dry, waiting for warmth to spread, waiting for the day to move at its own quiet pace. There is no rush. There is only patience, only stillness within motion. The fabrics continue to sway, dripping slowly, glowing faintly. The yard is filled with light and shadow, with fragrance and sound, with the simple beauty of drying cloth. It feels eternal, as though this moment has been repeated for centuries, always the same, always calming. You let yourself linger in the stillness, resting in the gentle art of drying. And as the day moves quietly onward, the workers prepare for their midday pause, a chance to rest, to sip tea, and to let the rhythm of calm continue in another form. Exhale as you watch the light and fabric move together, slow and synchronized. It is as though the entire courtyard has turned into a gallery of living paintings, simple cloth transformed by sun and air. Hemp dries the slowest. Its fibers, coarse and thick, drink in the sunlight reluctantly, giving up their moisture bit by bit. As it sways, it makes a faint, stiff rustle, almost like pages of an old manuscript turning in the breeze. The sound is steady, grounding, reminding you of strength and patience. Cotton dries more quickly. It yields easily, its softness soaking in warmth, letting go of water in gentle drips. The fabric folds gracefully over the poles, forming shadows that stripe the stones beneath. When the breeze comes, the cotton flutters quietly, like clouds moving lazily across the sky. Its presence is calming, an invitation to release tension as easily as it releases water. Silk, however, is the most striking. As it dries, it glows faintly, the sheen shifting with every movement. When the breeze touches it, silk ripples in long, elegant waves like water reflecting sunlight. The drops slide quickly from its smooth surface, falling in tiny cascades, each one catching the light for an instant before disappearing. The silk becomes a ribbon of calm, a reminder that beauty can be quiet, soft, and unassuming. The air fills with the fragrance of drying fabric. It is not sharp, not overwhelming, just subtle notes. The earthy trace of hemp, the clean softness of cotton, the faint sweetness of silk mixed with sunlight. Together they create an aroma of freshness, like the smell of new beginnings, of days that unfold slowly, without hurry. You close your eyes for a moment and listen. The sounds of the yard shift with the drying cloth. No longer the heavy splashes of soaking, but the lighter sounds of dripping water. Droplets fall from edges and corners, tapping against the stone, landing in small puddles that shimmer in the light. The rhythm is irregular but calming, like rain after a storm has passed. A breeze stirs again. The fabrics lift slightly, their edges brushing against one another. The sound is soft, like whispers exchanged between friends. The poles creak faintly, bearing the weight of cloth, but their strength is sure, their sound steady. Every element in the yard seems to lean into this moment of drying, an interlude of calm after the rhythm of washing. Take another slow breath. Feel your chest rise and fall as you match it to the swaying of the fabrics. Inhale as they lift, exhale as they settle again. Your body follows their movement. Your mind falls into their rhythm. You notice the shadows now. Each piece of fabric casts a long shape upon the stones. Some shadows are sharp, others blurred by the breeze. As the cloth moves, the shadows ripple and shift, creating patterns that stretch and shrink, overlap and separate. It is like watching an endless painting in motion, created not by artists, but by sun and air alone. The workers move quietly among the poles. They check the cloth, adjusting folds, straightening corners, shaking out pieces that cling together. Their movements are careful but unhurried, like gardeners tending to plants in the soft light of morning. Sometimes they pause, wiping their hands on their robes, looking at the sky as though measuring the time by the angle of light. Their silence blends with the calm, their presence steady, reassuring. A bird lands briefly on one of the poles, tilting its head, then flutters away. Its wings send a brief shiver through the fabric, which soon settles again, unbothered. Even interruptions here are soft, absorbed immediately into the calm. Take a deep breath in and let it out slowly. Another finishes the last sip of tea, sets the cup down, and stands. The pause has ended, but it has not been broken. It lingers in their slower movements, in their softened expressions, in the calm that remains. Take one final deep breath in this moment. Exhale fully, letting the pause carry you deeper into peace. And now, as the workers return gently to their tasks, your attention drifts toward the kitchens beyond the courtyard, where simple snacks are being prepared for the afternoon. As the midday pause softens and the workers return to their rhythm, your attention drifts toward the kitchens that lie just beyond the courtyard walls. The sounds there are gentle, muted, blending seamlessly into the calm of the day. A lid lifts from a clay pot, releasing a slow curl of steam into the air. It rises and dissolves into the sunlight, carrying with it the scent of warm grains, soft and nourishing. Take a deep breath now. The workers carry trays back toward the courtyard, their steps soft, their presence steady. The food is not extravagant, but it is enough, more than enough to bring comfort and ease. The courtyard awaits again, ready to receive this small feast. The fabrics still sway, drying in the sun, while the workers return carrying warmth and fragrance. Soon, they will sit together, sharing these snacks in quiet conversation, savoring flavors as mild and soothing as the day itself. And as you follow them back into the yard, you too prepare to sit, to taste, to rest in the quiet abundance of simple food shared among friends. Inhale the fragrance of millet porridge simmering, faintly sweet, faintly nutty. Exhale slowly, letting the comfort of that simple scent sink deeper into your body. The kitchen, though modest, feels like the heart of the day, where small snacks are prepared not for indulgence, but for steadiness and warmth. A woman stirs the pot with a long wooden spoon. Her movements are slow and circular, the porridge thickening with each pass. The sound is soft, a low swirl, the faint scrape of wood against clay. She pauses, lifts the spoon, and lets the porridge drip back into the pot in a slow ribbon. The rhythm is patient, unhurried, a continuation of the calm found in the courtyard. Nearby, another worker unwraps a bundle of steamed buns. They rest inside a woven basket, their white surfaces puffed and smooth. As the cloth is pulled back, steam escapes in waves, carrying the scent of soft flour and faint yeast. The buns are plucked out one by one and placed on a shallow wooden tray, their rounded forms shining in the light. When torn open, they reveal a center of warmth, the texture pillowy, comforting. The sight alone is enough to soften your breath, to loosen the body into ease. Take another breath, long and slow. As you exhale, imagine the sensation of holding one of those buns in your hand, the surface warm, the steam rising gently against your skin. It is food meant not to excite, but to soothe, to steady the heart and calm the mind. In another corner, vegetables are being prepared. Radishes sliced with care, their crisp sound sharp but low, quickly fading into the background. Leaves of mustard greens washed in cool water, their edges dripping slowly as they are set aside. The rhythm is the same here as in the laundry yard: soak, rinse, shake, rest. Even in food, the pattern of repetition continues, bringing comfort not only to the body, but to the senses. Chestnuts roast slowly in a small clay pan over glowing coals. The shells crack faintly as the heat seeps in, releasing a sweet, nutty aroma that fills the kitchen. The scent mingles with the steamed buns, with the simmering porridge, with the washed greens. It is a layering of fragrances, none overwhelming, all blending into a soft harmony that belongs uniquely to this moment. Take another deep breath. Inhale the warmth of roasted chestnuts. Exhale the softness of porridge steam. Notice how the scents together feel like a lullaby for the senses, guiding you deeper into calm. The workers speak little as they prepare these snacks. Their focus is quiet, their gestures unhurried. One folds the buns into cloth to keep them warm. Another sprinkles salt over the greens. A third tends the fire, shifting the coals with a soft crackle of wood. Every action belongs to the same gentle rhythm, one that does not hurry toward completion, but moves with the natural pace of the day. You imagine yourself sitting near the kitchen door, watching the steam drift upward, listening to the faint sounds of preparation. The crack of chestnut shells, the swirl of porridge, the rustle of greens. It all becomes a song of ordinary life. There is no drama here, no urgency, only the calm unfolding of tasks, each step adding to the quiet abundance of the afternoon. Take one more breath, steady and deep. Let your thoughts drift with the steam, rising and fading, bursting and fading. Notice how even the act of preparing food can be meditative, when done with care and without rush. The snacks are ready now. Buns folded neatly, porridge resting in its pot, chestnuts cooled enough to split and share. The kitchen smells rich yet gentle, layered but never loud. The courtyard remains calm, yet just beyond its wooden gate, the faint murmur of the street begins to drift in. It is not loud, not bustling, but softened by distance, like a lullaby carried on the breeze. You step out for a moment, and the air changes. Here, in the quiet lanes of a Tang city, vendors have begun to prepare their simple wares, filling the street with scents and sounds that are both ordinary and soothing. The first thing you notice is the aroma of rice cakes being steamed. The fabrics still sway in the breeze. The workers still move gently among them. And now the scents of the street mingle with the scents of soap root and drying cloth. The world feels whole, yard and street, work and rest, sound and silence, all balanced, all calm. Take one last deep breath in this moment. Exhale softly. The street vendors remain outside, their wares simple and steady, while you return to the courtyard, ready to share these small delights with the workers, ready to let the afternoon unfold in its quiet rhythm. A vendor lifts the lid from a bamboo steamer, and a puff of fragrant steam rises into the morning light. The cakes inside are pale and round, their surfaces smooth and soft. As they are placed carefully on a tray, the sound is muted. Soft thuds, gentle motions. Nothing here disturbs the peace. Even food arrives quietly, without drama. Take a slow breath now. Inhale the faint sweetness of rice, warm and earthy. Exhale slowly, letting that scent settle like a blanket over your thoughts. You feel calmer, lighter, as though even the air itself were nourishing. Another vendor sits nearby, arranging dried fruits on a shallow wooden table. Slices of persimmon, wrinkled yet glowing with amber color. Dates, small and dark, polished like stones by the sun. Apricots, golden and tender, their fragrance soft and mellow. He does not call out to customers. He simply arranges them slowly, piece by piece, as though each fruit deserves its own place in the quiet order of the morning. Farther along, a kettle simmers gently over coals. The steam escapes in low sighs, carrying with it the scent of spiced tea, ginger, cinnamon, faint hints of dried orange peel. The vendor pours the liquid into small cups, the stream thin and steady, the sound soft like rain trickling down a roof. Each cup is handed across with both hands, a gesture of care rather than transaction. The warmth of the tea fills not only the cup but the air around it, adding to the layered comfort of the street. Take another breath, deep and slow. As you inhale, imagine the warmth of spiced tea rising into your lungs. As you exhale, feel the tension in your shoulders slip away, as if carried off by steam. The street itself is quiet in its rhythm. A cartwheel rolls gently over stone, its creak low and steady. A child's laughter rises faintly, then fades quickly into silence. A dog wanders between stalls, its steps light, its presence unhurried. Every detail exists, but none intrudes. They become part of the background, merging into the calm flow of the day. You stop for a moment by a vendor roasting sesame seeds. The seeds pop faintly in the pan, releasing a nutty fragrance that mingles with the scent of rice and tea. The sound is subtle, a gentle tapping, like tiny raindrops on a paper roof. When sprinkled over warm cakes, the sesame adds not crunch but aroma, an invisible layer of comfort, a quiet richness. Take a moment to notice the colors around you. The pale white of rice cakes, the amber glow of dried persimmons, the deep red of dates, the golden hue of roasted chestnuts, the earthy brown of steaming tea. Together they create a palette, not of brilliance, but of warmth and calm. The colors soothe the eyes, just as the scents soothe the mind. The vendors do not hurry. They move slowly, deliberately, as though time itself stretches longer in these lanes. Coins exchange hands, but quietly, without clatter. Words are spoken, but softly, as though each syllable knows it belongs to a peaceful place. There is no bargaining, no sharp calls for attention. Only the steady rhythm of simple trade carried out with respect and calm. Take another breath. As you inhale, imagine walking slowly down this lane, your senses filled with warmth and fragrance. As you exhale, imagine releasing every last trace of tension, leaving it behind like dust settling on stone. You return at last toward the courtyard. Your arms might carry a small pouch of dried fruits, a cup of spiced tea, or a warm rice cake wrapped in bamboo leaf. Each item is simple, ordinary, but each carries with it the quiet care of those who prepared it. They are not luxuries. They are comforts, designed to nourish body and spirit alike. As you step back through the wooden gate, the courtyard greets you once more. You step back into the courtyard, the gate closing softly behind you. The air here feels familiar again, filled with the sense of fabric drying in the sun and soaproot lingering faintly in the basins. But now, new aromas follow you in. Warm buns, spiced tea, roasted chestnuts, dried fruits, carried gently from the street outside. The courtyard receives them without resistance, folding these fragrances into its calm as if they had always belonged here. The chestnut is tasted slowly, its sweetness savored, its warmth lingering long after it is gone. Take one more breath in this moment. Inhale the blend of scents, steam, spice, fruit, roasted nut. Exhale the ease of companionship, the softness of silence shared with others. The snacks are nearly finished now, the trays lighter, the cups emptied. The workers lean back, hands resting in their laps, faces turned toward the breeze. They do not rise yet. They linger, letting the last of the warmth and flavor settle. The courtyard holds them gently, its air filled with the comfort of food, of voices, of shadows swaying above. When at last they stand, it is with no rush, no pressure. They gather the trays, fold the cloth, stack the cups. The rhythm of the day will continue, but the pause of sharing has left its mark, a softness that lingers in every breath, every movement. Take one last deep breath. As you exhale, feel yourself carried by the warmth of this moment, as though you, too, had eaten among them, as though you, too, had rested in the calm of simple food and gentle voices. And now, as the group turns again to their quiet tasks, the afternoon deepens into stillness, and the courtyard returns to its serene rhythm once more. The workers gather slowly, setting aside their tasks for a little while longer. They arrange themselves in the shade of the wall, their backs against the cool stone, their bodies leaning into ease. No one rushes, no one commands. It is simply the natural rhythm of the day, guiding them to sit together, to rest, to share. One worker unfolds a cloth to reveal steamed buns still warm inside. She places them on a low tray, the steam drifting upward in small clouds, vanishing into the afternoon air. Another pours spiced tea into clay cups, the liquid thin and amber, the scent of ginger and cinnamon rising faintly. A boy empties a small pouch of dried fruits, dates, apricots, persimmons, onto a wooden plate. Their colors glow in the sunlight, deep red, golden, amber, each one soft and inviting. Take a slow breath now. Inhale the warmth of the buns, the spice of the tea, the sweetness of fruit. Exhale gently, feeling your body soften with the comfort of this simple feast. The workers speak quietly as they eat. Their voices are low, their words unhurried. One remarks softly on the freshness of the tea, another answers with a nod and a smile. The conversation is not about news or worries. It is about the small things, the taste of a bun, the crispness of a persimmon, the way the breeze moves the fabrics above. It is chatter as gentle as the food itself, nourishing not only the body, but the spirit. You take a bun in your hand, feeling its warmth seep into your skin. When you tear it open, steam curls upward, carrying the faint scent of flour and yeast. The texture is soft, pillowy, yielding easily beneath your fingers. As you taste it, the flavor is mild, almost sweet, and deeply comforting. It is not richness you savor here, but gentleness, the kind of food that rests in the stomach like a soft blanket. The tea follows, sipped slowly from a clay cup. The liquid is warm but not scalding, the flavors of ginger and cinnamon subtle, balanced by the faint tang of dried orange peel. Each swallow leaves a trail of warmth down your chest, a warmth that lingers and spreads, easing you deeper into rest. It is a drink that asks you to slow down, to notice, to breathe with it. The dried fruits are passed around. A slice of persimmon, sweet and chewy, glowing like amber in the sunlight. A date, dark and smooth, rich yet grounding. An apricot, tender and golden, with a faint tang that wakes the tongue only briefly before fading into calm. Each piece is tall, ordinary, yet carries within it the sun and soil of the land, condensed into quiet sweetness. Take another deep breath. As you inhale, imagine the flavors settling in your mouth, soft and simple. As you exhale, let the calmness of shared food spread through you, loosening any last tightness. The workers continue to share, their hands passing food back and forth. Sometimes they laugh softly, the sound brief and low. Sometimes they fall into silence, chewing slowly, eyes half closed in rest. There is no need for constant conversation. The act of eating together is enough, filling the air with a quiet companionship that is as soothing as the meal itself. The fabrics above sway gently, catching sunlight that flickers over the group below. Shadows ripple across the trays, across the hands holding cups and fruit. It feels as though the courtyard itself joins in the meal, its rhythms merging with theirs. The wind, the light, the sounds, all of it becomes part of the same gentle gathering. A boy cracks open a roasted chestnut, its shell splitting with a faint snap. The nut inside is golden, fragrant, releasing its sweet aroma. He offers it to another, who accepts with a smile, breaking it in half to share again. It is a small gesture, unspoken, but full of warmth. The courtyard is quiet again. The workers have returned to their tasks, yet even their movements feel slower now, softened by the midday pause and the shared meal. The fabrics sway lightly on their poles, the last drops of water nearly gone, the sun warming their fibers. The rhythm of washing has ended. The rhythm of drying has nearly completed its cycle. What remains now is a hush, a stillness that belongs uniquely to the afternoon. Take a slow, steady breath. Notice how your body mirrors the courtyard, slower, softer, more at ease. The fabrics still on the poles continue to sway. They shimmer faintly in the fading light, their colors muted, their edges lifting gently in the breeze. They do not rush to dry. They simply allow the sun and wind to finish their work in their own time. It is a lesson, a reminder. Nothing needs to be forced, not even the passage of time. The workers pause again, not in hunger now, but in contemplation. One leans against a pole, gazing at the sky. Another wipes his hands and sits on the edge of the stone path, his eyes half closed. They do not speak, and they do not need to. The quiet itself is enough, shared among them like another kind of meal. The courtyard is wrapped in calm now, like a cocoon. You sit within it, breathing with it, resting with it. The afternoon holds you gently, reminding you that stillness itself can be a form of care. Take a final breath in this moment. Exhale completely and let yourself sink into the warmth, the shade, the hum of cicadas, the silence between sounds. And as the sun begins to dip lower, you notice how the fabrics glow faintly, how the workers prepare slowly for evening, and how the courtyard itself shifts into the golden embrace of the day's last hours. Inhale the calm of the courtyard. Exhale the heaviness of thought. Notice how the air itself feels denser, filled with warmth, yet softened by shade and breeze. Time seems to stretch longer here, each moment more spacious, more open. The cicadas sing again, their steady song weaving through the courtyard. Their voices are endless, rising and falling in waves, a background hum that fills the silence without breaking it. They are not harsh, not insistent, simply present, like the steady pulse of the earth. Their sound merges with the rustling bamboo, with the faint creak of poles, with the sigh of fabric moving in the air. Together, it is a music of ordinary life, both endless and soothing. You notice the workers moving quietly among the poles. They check the cloth, folding edges that have dried, spreading others to catch more sun. Their steps are slow, measured, the soles of their shoes tapping softly against the stone. No one hurries, no one calls. The afternoon encourages patience, and they respond with ease. A faint breeze drifts through the courtyard, carrying with it the scent of drying fabric mixed with the distant smoke of kitchen fires. The smoke is light, woody, blending with the air until it becomes less a smell and more a feeling: warmth, hearth, home. The courtyard holds these scents as it holds everything else, gently, without urgency. Take another slow breath. Imagine yourself sitting quietly against the wall, your body warmed by the sun, cooled by the shade, your senses wrapped in fragrance. With each inhale, you grow steadier. With each exhale, you let go of what lingers from the outside world. The shadows shift gradually across the stone floor. They lengthen, stretching from the bamboo, from the poles, from the workers themselves. The light is softer now, golden and low, tracing outlines that blur and ripple as the fabrics move. It is a painting that changes each moment, but always with calm, always without rush. You close your eyes and listen. The courtyard seems just even quieter this way. The cicadas hum, the bamboos whisper, the workers' footsteps, all soften, all blend. Even your own breath becomes part of the soundscape, joining the rhythm of the afternoon. There is no boundary between you and the courtyard now. You are within it, and it is within you. A temple bell rings faintly in the distance. The tone is low, resonant, lingering in the air long after the strike. It does not disturb the silence, it deepens it. The sound stretches across the city, reaching the courtyard gently, resting here like a reminder of stillness. When the echo fades, the cicadas return. The bamboo stirs, and the rhythm continues as though uninterrupted. Take another breath, deep and steady. Let the sound of that bell linger within you, like an echo in your own chest. As you exhale, feel yourself soften, sinking deeper into rest. The workers begin folding some of the lighter cloth. Their movements are deliberate, quiet. A corner lifted, folded over, smoothed by hand. The fabric rustles faintly, its texture soft, pliant, calm. The stacks grow slowly, neatly, resting beside the poles like small monuments to patience. There is no hurry to complete the work. Each fold is a gesture of care, of attention. The air is heavy with warmth now, but not oppressive. It is the kind of warmth that slows everything down, that invites the body to rest. Even the birds are quiet, perched on rooftops, their feathers still. The courtyard seems to float in this quiet, timeless and suspended. Take one more deep breath. Inhale the golden air of afternoon. Exhale the weight of the day so far. The sun begins its slow descent, and the courtyard is bathed in golden light. It is not the sharp light of morning, nor the heavy glow of noon. It is a softer radiance, warm and gentle, stretching long shadows across the stones. The fabrics, once damp and heavy, are now light, fluttering with ease, their surfaces catching the last rays of day. Take a slow breath. Inhale the glow of evening. Exhale the stillness of the courtyard. Notice how even the air feels different now, cooler, calmer, touched by the promise of night. The workers move quietly among the poles. They lift the fabrics one by one, testing them with their fingers, feeling for the last traces of moisture. When a cloth is ready, it is lifted carefully, folded over in long, neat. The sound of fabric folding is soft, a faint rustle, a low sigh. It is the language of completion, of a task coming gently to its end. Hemp folds with firmness, each crease sharp, each stack sturdy. Cotton folds with ease, draping into smooth layers, pliant and soft. Silk folds almost reluctantly, slipping through fingers, shimmering even in the dimming light. Each fabric has its own voice, its own way of saying goodbye to the day. The workers do not rush. Each fold is deliberate, smoothed by a palm, pressed lightly into place. Stacks of cloth grow slowly at the edge of the courtyard, resting like small mountains, each one carrying the calm weight of the day's labor. There is no need to finish quickly. The rhythm of folding itself is soothing, a closing gesture as gentle as the opening ones. Take another deep breath. As you exhale, imagine yourself folding the fabric too, lifting, smoothing, stacking. With each motion, you release another layer of thought, another fragment of the day. What remains is order, softness, calm. The evening light deepens and the shadows lengthen. They stretch across the walls, across the stones, across the folded stacks. The bamboo sways lightly, its leaves glowing gold for a moment before turning to shadow. The courtyard feels suspended between day and night, caught in a moment that invites you to linger. The workers exchange a few words, soft and brief. One points to the last pieces still drying, their edges glinting faintly in the fading light. Another nods, folds a cloth, places it neatly on the stack. Their voices, their motions, their silences, all are gentle, blending seamlessly with the evening air. You close your eyes and listen. The courtyard is quieter now, the cicadas fading, the birds settling into stillness. The sound of folding cloth becomes clearer, each rustle stretching across the silence like a lullaby. It is a sound without urgency, a sound that carries you deeper into calm. Open your eyes again and notice how the sky has changed. The pale gold has deepened to amber, then to rose, then to a soft blue. The fabrics, even as they are folded, hold this light briefly, reflecting it like a final gift before being stacked away. The beauty is fleeting, but in its brevity lies its peace. Take another deep breath. Inhale the last warmth of the sun. Exhale into the cool promise of night. Feel yourself moving with the courtyard, folding with it, closing gently, preparing for rest. A lantern is lit near the gate. Its glow is faint at first, a small circle of amber against the growing dusk. But it does not compete with the sun. It waits patiently, offering its light only when needed, blending gently into the evening rhythm. The workers continue until the last fabric is folded. The poles, once heavy with wet cloth, now stand empty, their wood creaking softly in relief. The basins are nearly dry, the baskets lighter, the air filled with the subtle scent of sun-warmed fabric. The courtyard itself feels lighter, cleared, open, ready for the night. Take one final breath in this moment. Exhale slowly, letting the day slip away with the folding of the last cloth. The stacks rest neatly. The poles stand empty. The lantern glows softly. Everything is in its place, complete, calm, and as the workers step back, gazing at their finished work, the courtyard drifts fully into evening. The glow of sunset fades, the lanterns rise, and the world prepares for the hush of night. The courtyard is quiet now. The fabrics are folded, the poles stand empty, and the last light of the sun has slipped away. Lanterns glow softly along the walls, their flames steady, their shadows long. The air carries only the faintest trace of soap root, of sun-warmed cloth, of tea cooling slowly in forgotten cups. It is the kind of stillness that does not ask for silence, it creates it, wrapping everything in calm. Take a slow breath in. Hold it gently for a moment. Exhale slowly, letting your shoulders sink, letting your mind grow soft. The rhythm of the day has ended, and now only rest remains. The courtyard hums with quiet memory, the splash of morning water, the rustle of drying cloth, the murmur of voices, the fragrance of simple food. All of it lingers, but gently, like threads woven into a dream. Nothing presses forward, nothing demands your attention. It is all behind you now, folded neatly like the fabric stacked in the corner. You sit with this stillness, feeling it seep into your chest, into your arms, into your very breath. There is no need to hold on to the day any longer. It has ended. And in its ending, it gives you permission to let go, too. Take one more deep breath, soft and steady. As you exhale, imagine yourself drifting into the night like a lantern carried gently on the breeze. The glow fades, but the warmth remains. You are safe, you are calm, you are ready to rest. The courtyard sleeps now, and so do you. Everything is peaceful. Everything is quiet. Good night.